7-Up proudly presents Perry Wood, who brings us America's Answer, an exclusive and authentic report on the progress of American defense. Presenting Perry Wood.
Thank you, Gene Erickson. Good evening to you all. This program tonight is transcribed because it just so happens that I will have to be out of town tomorrow, Tuesday night. But I'll be back again Thursday. But I got to fooling around as I do, and I looked up two words. One is espionage, and the other is sabotage. Now, we talk a lot about those two words, and I wonder just how much any of us know about them. And here's how it's written in the dictionaries. Sabotage is defined as the practice of spying on others or the employment of spies, systematic, secret observation of the words and conduct of others. And sabotage is defined as the willful injury to our destruction, destruction, I should say, of machinery or materials by workmen, similar interference with government activities in times of emergency, willful restriction of labor or production. Now, every government strives tirelessly in times of peace, and particularly when threatened with war, to learn everything pertaining to each other's military organizations. The United States is covered with a net of foreign agents who, under the direction of their own intelligence services, are detailed to the performance of espionage assignments according to a comprehensive plan. And foreign intelligence services have always managed to find, unfortunately, American citizens who, through cupidity or stupidity, deliver information to them. The foreign intelligence services and their agents are interested in everything which relates or arises, we might say, in the service of military and naval personnel. And their agents attempt to procure data on the state of our training, our armament, our equipment, our combat principles, war organization, and on the spirit and morale of the troops, the strength of our units, and the names of superiors, and on the life of the soldier off duty. And it shouldn't only be the soldier, but the sailor and the Marine, the Coast Guard as well. And special value is attached by foreign intelligence services to the procurement of orders and secret orders, of service regulations and specifications, and of photographs and drawings and sketches of all kinds. But it is, however, equally as important for them to find out what we do not have as it is for them to find out what we actually have. Agents in the employ of foreign intelligence service, they don't need to be foreigners, incidentally. Unfortunately, there are also American citizens. They appear externally harmless and, of course, always in those places where troops are stationed. And every person in the naval or military service must always be on guard against just such people as these. The agents of foreign intelligence services like to approach under the guise of a former soldier or sailor or Marine, and have either actually served or have been schooled with sufficient facts to carry on a plausible and convincing conversation regarding military service at the time that they claim that they were in it. And they seek to make the acquaintance of servicemen in cafes or other public places where they can invite prospects to have a drink or whatever it might happen to be and to sound them out. They like to tell how it was in the old days when they were in the service or in the World War. Then they want to know how it is today. One should therefore be suspicious and careful regarding all invitations and conversations of this kind. Once the acquaintance has been made, it will be cultivated and gradually worked up to the stage where one will feel that he has a new and trusted friend. And when this stage is reached, the agents then attempt to reassure their intended victims by asking to borrow some military book to read. Generally, they want one which, can be bought in any store or is in general circulation without restriction. And it must, of course, appear as harmless as possible. When they've reached this stage with the servicemen, then they feel rather safe. And then they appear with other requests, such as service orders, service leaflets, service regulations and specifications, or service drawings and sketches are desired as we'll say, only a matter of interest. And they even, under some circumstances, offer money for these things. The arrest and delivery of foreign agents is not the affair of the Marine or the soldier or the sailor. That is, generally speaking. However, saboteurs and other agents apprehended in the act of sabotage or similar activities should certainly not be allowed to escape. The serviceman is not a criminal official, we'll say, and in most cases, when he has promptly and intelligently reported suspected saboteurs or agents to the proper authorities, he has done his duty. That's the end of that. But he should, however, take every precaution in making such reports to be sure that the suspected person is not aware of the fact that he is suspected and being reported. This is advisable for two reasons. One, in order that his character will not suffer if he is completely innocent of any such activities, and many may be, those that are under suspicion. And two, in order that through him, the higher-ups in his group may be discovered if he is actually engaged in subversive activities. Every suspicious case should be definitely reported. I'm talking to you civilians now, as well as the men of the service. Because what in detail is to be done to deliver and apprehend the agents of foreign intelligence service will be told you by your superiors. Or if you want to go down to the FBI and find out what you are supposed to do, they will tell you. The strictest silence must be preserved in every single case, even toward your comrades, we'll say. Because a successful campaign against the Foreign Intelligence Service can be waged only when each and every man does his duty and reports immediately to his superior every single suspicious case. There are agents of foreign intelligence services everywhere. When I say everywhere, believe me, I mean just that. They work to a definite plan. If they have secured their victims, if a man has accepted money for them, they become extortioners. And they threaten with report to the military authorities of the victim does not necessarily bring them the material which they require for their chiefs. The agent now has the victim in his hand, we'll say. He can do with him just exactly what he pleases. In other words, you stub your toe once, and there you are. He squeezes him like a lemon. And then when no more is to be extracted from him, an anonymous postcard, a letter, reports him to his commanding officer. Now, theft, desertion, or ignoble death, or suicide, that is the career of the serviceman who has fallen into the hands of foreign agents. Because no soldier has ever become rich through treason. No one has ever escaped his debts through betrayal of his country. Now remember those words. More likely, he's wound up in prison or has been sentenced to death. And that should be noted by all those who, when in debt, foolishly believe that they can get out of their financial difficulties by betraying their country. That can't be done. And he who is in legitimate need of money should confide in his superiors. And they can advise, and they can and will help him. And then under the heading of note, we'll say, on the representation of a legitimate financial emergency, assistance may be rendered in the form of support, money advance, loan, or emergency contribution. And information can be obtained from your company commander or from your chaplain. But don't turn to the agents of Foreign Intelligence Service. They have no personal interest whatsoever in any serviceman and only want to get information in the very cheapest way. Every man in the service should be aware of this fact. Every little detail of your service is important to Foreign Intelligence Service. It, with thousands of other reports, is fitted into its proper place, like a jigsaw puzzle by the central officials in the foreign countries. And in the end, there is a picture which shows all that is wanted to know by these people who are not friends of this country of ours. And for this reason, utmost care is demanded in all traffic vehicles, trains, and streetcars, and buses, and taxis, and airplanes, and so forth, or in public places such as your theaters and movies and bars. And don't talk about the service in the canteens or barbershops of even your own barracks. Now, that sounds silly. But always remember, the enemy is listening in while you are talking. Be suspicious about former acquaintances and friends. It's much better to be cautious at all times than at just one time. And never write that which you already don't dare speak. Divorce yourself from certain self-importance. And this applies especially to men assigned to aviation, parachute troops, communication duties, and artillery. They must be able to control themselves. An old war principle which has proved itself for ages is endure, preserve, and shut up. There are orders in force restricting photographing. Now, please, govern yourselves accordingly, everybody. Don't photograph secretly. Well, I see that our time is just about up now, but we will continue with this discussion again next Thursday evening. And so until then, good night to you, and a happy landing.
You have heard Perry Wood, who has brought us America's Answer, an exclusive and authentic report on the progress of American defense. Tune in next Thursday from 6:45 to 7 up, when Perry Wood again brings you America's Answer.
For freedom and liberty forever. Three cheers for the red, white, and blue.
This program has been a presentation of the San Diego studios of the Columbia Broadcasting System.